What's up, boys? Today's December 1st, 2025, first day of the month, last day, or last month of the year. Pretty excited for it. But I wanted to talk about something that is not only trading related, but I would say is something you should look at, anything you do in life, whether that's, career, relationships, moving to somewhere else. I think this is something that, it's pretty valuable, at least to me. So, today's title is Taking Risk, and it's the only way your life actually changes. So, on to the presentation. Why risk matters. So, your life is shaped by the risk you take or avoid. So, what I mean by that is the risk you take not only affects you in life, but also the risk that you don't take, good risk, like things that can benefit you. If you don't do that, if you avoid them, that also affects you as well. So, safe choices feel comfortable but keep you stuck. What do I mean by that? Let's say you had an opportunity for like a job or something. You had an opportunity to do something special or that, that would affect you in a positive way, yet you decide because there's like a chance of, I don't know, risk involved to it. There's a chance that maybe things don't go like as well. You decide to stay in your hometown and you don't do anything about it, and then you're 70 years old, and then you live a complacent life and you regret everything that you didn't do. That's what I mean by that. So growth, and risk and anything in life comes from stepping into certain uncertainties. um, I've had certain scenarios in my life where I was, I don't know, nervous into doing something because I understood that there was, risk involved to it, but I still did it. This exactly what I'm doing right here. There's like some risk to it. Maybe some more than others, but there's risk in everything. And on to the next one, fear versus courage. Risk is not about being fearless. It's not about being just like impulsive and just doing things because you don't care about anything. It's about moving forward when the outcome is unknown, when you're not really sure about what can happen, but you still do it because you know that there's a possibility to do much more than was, what was before. Um, Courage is just acting when you're scared. I've had many times when I was scared because I understood that there was a possibility that I can lose a good amount, but I also understood that there was a possibility that I can, gain and win a lot more than I can lose. So that goes onto our next topic, calculated versus reckless risk. Two different things. Reckless risk, it's just basically, guessing, gambling. When you gamble and you're saying like, okay, red, black, there's no like analysis behind that realistically. You're just choosing just to choose and you're making impulsive decisions, and many people go through life like that and maybe they're okay, but that's just not what I recommend. What I do recommend is a calculated risk. So it's just preparation plus that set of courage that I encourage to, have when you take these risks. It's basically, yeah, I mean, it's in the name, calculated risk. What you are risking, you understand what you're risking. You understand that, okay, let's say if I were to take this leap forward, what can happen? X, Y, and Z. Okay, if I'm okay with X, Y, and Z happening, if that's the worst case scenario, then boom, I'm going to take that risk because it's a calculated risk. So it's really just knowing your downside and understanding, or at least trying to understand whether or not that risk is worth it in taking or not. There are certain things where you have to calculate and you have to say, okay, this isn't worth it, so I'm not going to do it. The risk isn't as much as the reward. There are many times where you are risking almost nothing in exchange for a lot more. That's a calculated risk. You're going to obviously take that, okay? So, opportunity and failure. Every opportunity comes from disguise as uncertainty. Failure from thoughtful risk teaches you, and avoiding risk only guarantees regret. Like I've already said, you don't want to be that guy that's 70 years old. You're a janitor or you're just working a job that you don't like. It doesn't even have to be a bad job. It can just be a job that you don't like because you decided instead of doing something that you believed would fulfill you, you decided to do the safe route. When many times the safe route isn't actually the safe route, it's just the complacent route that puts you in that stagnant position in life, and then you just end up regretting everything. And I mean, what's better, doing something? I try to put it like this: I would much rather try as much as I possibly could and fail, total failure. But I understood that I did and I tried to do everything I really wanted to do, you know, and that the understanding of knowing that I tried my absolute best and I didn't leave a single thing off. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if I fail. That's perfectly fine with me because I would much rather do that than live until 75, 80 years old, have nothing to my name, not even financially. I'm just saying nothing at all, nothing to my name, knowing I could have done so much in my life. Or how about this? Not even that, but just having this uncertainty in my mind. And I will forever have that lingering thought in which is, was I able to succeed? What would have happened with my life? What different direction would I have, went through if I did take this risk, if I did do these things and I took that step forward in which I always wanted to do. So, like I said, I would much rather be an absolute failure knowing I tried my hardest, trying something that many people wouldn't even do, but I tried, and I think that's honestly all that matters. And I would much rather do that than just be 70 and regretful with basically every aspect within my life. And that takes us to small and bold steps. Okay, small risk compound into massive results. One bold decision can shift your life trajectory, and taking risks that align with your future, um, not your comfort. What do I mean by that? Okay, small risks compound into massive results. It reminds me of this book that I read. I'm pretty sure, like, the specific name of it, it's like 1% compound, something like that. But it's essentially doing something, whether it's a risk, whether it's, whatever that you believe you want to, do in your life. Let's say you have this one goal, doing at least 1% of it every single day, or as much as you can. Try every single day, obviously. Those compound, these small little percentages and these small little risks and these small little tasks that you're taking every single day compound eventually to this massive result or to this massive goal that you have in mind. Okay. And with the second point, what do I mean by that? I mean, it's like the 80-20 thing. A lot of times within your life or within people's lives, 80% of anything that you succeed in life or 80% of whatever happens usually is a result of 20% of your work. So 20% of your work, 20% of your task, 20% of your risk and anything you ever do in life, 80% of that is a result of that 20%. Okay? So if anything, that should encourage you to want to do more, to take more risk, to do more things that you want to do that you think would benefit you in the long run, because only 20% of that is really going to matter. It's 20% of that's really going to matter. So you're going to have to do a lot more if you want to achieve this one thing. So it's not as easy as you think where you just do this one task. No, you're going to have to do that probably every single day, where every single day compounds into another, and then eventually you'll have that result. I'm doing this. It's a small step. I'm compounding every day to hopefully have a lot more and, achieve everything I want to do, whether it's financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever. But I'm taking these steps day by day, compounding so that one day I'm able to achieve it. Okay? So take risks that align with your future, not your comfort. Okay? So don't do things out of comfortability. And what I mean by that is don't do things whether or not you are like comfortable with it. Like I said, calculate a risk. Sometimes you're not comfortable necessarily, but you're still going to do it because you understand that the upside is a lot higher as compared to the downside. So I think about it like this. I mean, in life in general, you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. Okay? It's basically your life. Okay? There's not much you can really lose. Let's say worst comes to worst. I mean, in my position, worst comes to worst, I'm like 30, right? And I tried absolutely everything I wanted to do, had some ups, and then something happened, and then something like crashed. I just end up moving back with like my mom or something and help her out or whatever, or have a job. All these things that you are comfortable with, understand that that's not really going to go away. You can still do that. So might as well take these risks and possible failures first. Do that first. Do that as young as you can. This is the opportunity in which many of the things that you do at a young age don't really matter if like let's say you fail at 20 years old. You have so much life ahead of you. Just keep on doing and keep on going and have these risks, okay? So last slide, mindset for action. So the fear that you feel deep inside of you, it just signals growth, not danger. Understand that anything you ever do in life, you're probably going to have that feeling in which you're scared, you're nervous. I've had that many times, okay? Um, I've had that, in high school. I'm only in my first year of college. I started like 5 months ago. Um, there are certain things that maybe I am like fearful for, or I do have that like nervous feeling, and that's okay. Okay, that's okay. But I understand that, like I said, I'm doing these things little by little. My bad. I have my Invisalign, but my point is, I have a lot of things that I want to achieve in life. Um, some realistic, some optimistic, but I have many things that I want to achieve and I want to fulfill. Not only for me, but for my family, my mom, etc., etc. I want to leave, not a legacy. I don't really care much about a legacy, but I just want to be somebody that I know I can be, and that involves risk, many risk. Um, right now, I am in a bit of a complacent state in my life. Not really complacent, but just stagnant. Um, and I think this, I think it involves not taking as much risk I know I should be. Um, but I will improve upon that. I am taking myself, accountable for, and yeah, understand that your life changes the moment you act on meaningful risk. Okay, I've done it before, or I understand that I've done it before and I've succeeded before. So there's not much there's not much that I don't know already. Okay, um, at least within my level, I understand that things can go down, but I do understand with life experience that things can go up. There is so much more to gain than there is to lose, and I'm gonna leave you guys at that. But like I said, today is December 1st, 2025. Just 1 month left. If you gained anything, if you can gain anything from this video, is this: just whatever fear that you have, backed by a certain risk that you're afraid to take it. Take it. It's a figment of your imagination. Um, as stupid as it sounds, but nothing is real. Nothing is really real. There's always an opportunity. Um, I don't know. It's something that I myself have been struggling with, but that's a part of life. Certain people go through certain things, and that's okay. I think this is an opportunity for me to understand and to really, align myself with certain things I want in life. And I will do that. I'm not going to be that person who's just going to be like this for the rest of my life, because I understand that I have a lot more to give, to provide, to receive. I know that. And I think it's really just a matter of time, because I understand where I want to be in life. It's really just a matter of my actions and time to catch up to it. So, thank you guys for watching. If you guys can like, subscribe, leave a comment, and yeah, I'll try to pump out another video or two this week. Hopefully well, it's already like 6 p.m., but hopefully this week goes well. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.